Hey guys! I went on a hike this morning and I run and I just worked out. So I've had a lot of activity today, so I might not look the best in the face region. But I have a couple of things for y'all today. The first thing is that I'm going to introduce y'all to a new segment on the Dower Duo YouTube. We are going to be doing Thru Hiker Interviews, and it is exactly how it sounds. We are going to be interviewing thru hikers. As you guys know, I am at the Appalachian Trail-er right off the Appalachian Trail in Hot Springs, North Carolina, working as the caretaker. So I'm able to see a lot of thru hikers. Literally, the trail goes on this sidewalk right here. If you can see it, I'm kind of doing a bad job of showing you. In another video, I will give you guys a tour of the bunkhouse so you can actually see what it's all about and where I work. So this week I was able to talk to Kamper and Oso. They were my first interview. So we'll be able to hear about their thru hike. It's a little bit raw, the whole video, so I don't edit them a lot. I kind of want their true personality to come out through this video. And I think you'll really like these two guys. They're very down to earth. Kamper is very talkative and I love it. He is a hoot. I really enjoyed talking to Kamper, and Oso was just really interesting to talk to. He was very down to earth. I enjoyed talking to both of them very much. I think you guys will like to hear the interview. The second thing I want to tell y'all about how the coronavirus has been affecting thru hikes, specifically on the Appalachian Trail. I've been talking to a lot of thru hikers in the 2020 class. I've heard a lot of opinions from thru hikers on this aspect of the trail now. So I will go over that kinda as well and tell you kind of the thoughts and the feelings going around on the trail with the coronavirus. And today is, I think it's March 16th. I think today's March 16th. Today on the coronavirus has been marked as a pandemic. It's been marked for a little bit now. And I just listened to the briefing, the White House briefing, and they are asking that 10 or less people group together. Just real quick, I feel like the Appalachian Trail is a good place to be right now, especially if you tent and especially if you don't have a huge trail family. You're not getting exposed to a lot of people out on the trail. The one thing I am worried about with thru hikers is the resupplies and toilet paper. So I'll tell you guys what I've been hearing from thru hikers after this interview with Kamper and Oso. So get ready for that. All right. Hey everyone, it is Candy Mama here, and as you guys know, I am at the Appalachian Trail-er in Hot Springs as the caretaker, and we have some guests staying with us. This is Kamper and Oso. They are hiking the Appalachian Trail in 2020, and so I'm just gonna ask them a couple questions, and we're just gonna get to know them a little bit. So why don't we just start with your names, when you started, and where you're from?
Okay, my trail name is Kamper. My real name is Pat Camp. I'm from Grand Rapids, Michigan. 51 years old. I'll be 52 on trail coming up.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, retired back in 2018, and I've been wanting to do this trail since 2009. So, yeah.
Very cool. And Oso?
My trail name is Oso. My real name is Van Angle. I am from Ackworth, Georgia, which is just north of Atlanta. I've wanted to do this trail since I was 13 years old, and I'm 52. I'll be 53 in August. So it was real fascinating going through Newfound Gap the first time I ever saw the trail. So.
Okay.
I am not retired. I am a home builder in Atlanta between projects. So I get to go back to work,
Wow.
hopefully in August sometime, August, September, somewhere around there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So what was the draw? I know 2009 and when you were 13, I know it's changed maybe since you were 13 and maybe in 2009, but what was the draw initially when you wanted to do the Appalachian Trail?
2009 was the year where we were told that my middle daughter, Lily, was cancer-free. And so I thought, what can I do big to kind of pay back this hospital and the staff and stuff? There's really, I mean, you could do fundraisers here and there. And I thought, man, whatever I do, I don't know what it's going to be, but it's going to be something that I can bring awareness and hopefully money to help out this amazing hospital. And a few months went by and I was watching the History Channel, and they said up next, documentary called The Appalachian Trail. So I watched this hour-long documentary and I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
So, and so that was the basis of this hike back then. And then I just started reading books at first, because that's all there was. There wasn't YouTube vlogs. There was just books and documentaries. And so I just read and read and read and read everything I could get my hand on. And then I started watching vloggers in, I want to say 2017 was my first, and watching vloggers, and then I've been watching them ever since. And then I watch various styles. I like to watch couples. I like to watch, just solos, different age groups, to kind of just to get an idea. And then my wife and I went to watch this movie, A Walk in the Woods, based on Bill Bryson's book.
Yeah.
And at first, the whole time since 2009, my wife's catching on. She's looking at all these books and stuff. And every time she'll see me or on the computer, we're watching vloggers, she knows something's going on here.
She's piecing things together.
Yeah. And at first she thought, oh, he'll probably just section hike it. He's not going to leave home for 6 months.
Sure.
But we went to watch the movie when it came out. And we're driving home, and she looks at me and she says, you're going to thru hike this, aren't you? And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna. And she says, all right, well, you might as well do it while you're still young enough and healthy enough.
Wow.
So then and she said, you got 3 years before you retire. So I then worked a tremendous amount of overtime.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, and then I started buying gear last year. 2019 really is when I started buying all my gear.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so that's it in a nutshell right
Very
there for
cool.
me.
That's a great story. That's a great story. 13. That was a while ago.
That was in 1982.
Wow. So what was the drawback then to doing it, and how has that changed since?
I was in Boy Scouts, and we came to the 1982 World's Fair in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Okay.
And my scoutmaster took us up to Newfound Gap. He took us through Gatlinburg and up to Newfound Gap so we could see the incredible mountain views. I'd done quite a bit of backpacking as a scout, but just to see, when he told us that you can walk 2,000 miles in one direction and 200 miles back to Georgia, 2,000 miles north to Maine, I was just kind of overwhelmed. I was like, no way that path goes all the way to the northern, almost the northern boundary of the United States. So I don't know, having been in the military for 15 years, which I didn't say that a while ago, but 15 years in the military, lots of adventure, constantly moving, constantly going somewhere,
Mission, you're always...
physical training, and then having gotten out pre 9/11, or was it September 11th, pre-September 11th to 2001. I don't know, I guess I've just missed the adventure of being out and going places, and just that day-to-day lifestyle, pushing yourself and challenging your body, challenging your mind. And then like Kamper was saying, I started watching YouTube videos in 2017 and just got so ramped up to go do it that, I'm like, if I'm going to do it, my body's not getting any younger.
Yeah.
I've got to go do it.
Yeah.
So I've been married for 16 years, and I asked my wife probably every single year, can I go hike the AT? No. Can I go hike the AT? Can I go hike the AT? No. And then finally she broke last year and said, okay, let's have a plan though.
That's great.
So it's really, that's a big part of it, especially when you've got a wife and kids, to make sure there's a plan to make sure they're taken care of and take off.
Of course. Yeah. So how long, you talk about planning, so you watched videos, you read books, but serious plan, like this is what I'm doing. How long did it take you to seriously plan the Appalachian Trail-er, your through hike?
Gosh, probably for me about a year.
A year?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, that was up to, there's reaching out to other thru hikers and asking them questions. There's the phrase, the trail gets a vote. So you can plan, other than the financial aspects of it and the actual execution of or going out and doing the trail, you can only plan up to a certain point before it all starts to really fall apart. And then you've just got to play it day by day, and
Nothing goes to plan.
Nothing goes as planned. Yeah,
right.
So I think I probably pushed it 2 weeks before everything kind of fell apart.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When with me, it was like midway through 18, so about a year and a half. But I bought midway through 2018. I bought just a couple pieces of gear, because I already had an older backpack, that was good enough just for, getting out there. But yeah, 2019 is when I started really just slamming the money.
Okay.
And then buying, returning. So yeah, I would say, yeah, about a year and a half. But but this last year before my hike was, that was the big one. So yeah,
Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. So why February, first of all? Like, what is the draw to February? I know a lot of people have been saying, like, if you don't start in February, you're not going to finish. But that's not true. We all know that's not true. But for you guys, why start in February and not like March or April or even January? Why didn't you start earlier? What's the draw for February? And so early in February too.
For me, it was, I wanted to give myself enough time for injury, because it's not if I'm going to get injured, it's going to be when I'm going to be injured. And is it going to be 2 weeks off trail, or is it going to only be a week off trail? If it's only a week, I don't have to go home, but if it's going to be a couple weeks, I might as well save money and go home. I know that's going to happen. So that was played into the fact, and I wanted to be done by like the first part of August, because I'm from Michigan, and summer in Michigan is just amazing because of our Great Lakes, and our climate during the summer is fantastic. So I wanted to be back by then. And so I played that in, and I knew that there is going to be less people on the trail than starting during the bubble, and just great views. I thought a little clearer views, but for me it was avoiding the bigger crowds and giving myself enough time to mentally not worry about it.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, that's a great point though, the injury. I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm not going to get injured, or I'm going to try my best. But if you just prepare for it, you prepare your money, you prepare your body, you prepare your mind for when you will get injured or get Lyme's disease or coronavirus, whatever. Then that puts you in a better mindset when that does happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I just love cold weather.
There you go.
16 degrees is so fun to wake up to.
Isn't it nice?
Yeah, for sure.
Just want to jump
Especially
right out of that
with
sleeping
wind
bag.
chill of -6 degrees, so much fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So that's the solitude of starting early, because there's not a lot of people on the trail.
Okay.
To kind of, I guess, I don't know, it is nice with people around. When there's a few hikers around you can talk to, kind of keeps your mind a little more localized, or a little more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Centered?
Yeah, well, you can at least communicate with people, so your mind doesn't completely go wild out there being alone. It's
good point.
just the being around the bubble. A lot of the spring breakers. There's, I don't know, I wouldn't necessarily call it a negative attitude, but I don't want to say.
Well, no, with the bubble, you're gonna have a ton of hikers, all competing for shelter space during the miserable rain.
It's a different crowd.
Then you also have the day hikers and section hikers that are coming out at the same time.
Yeah.
And they're
and taking pictures of you.
There's a lot of people that don't even.
Look, it's a thru hiker.
They don't care too much about the trail. I think a lot of I got to say, probably most of the people that really care about the trail are going to be kind of out in front.
Okay.
the shelter, leaving the, when you get to a shelter and there's somebody's pack that's in there, there's clothes strewn everywhere. You know, I think there's a lot more chance of that in the middle of the bubble than there is in the very beginning. It happens in the very beginning, but a lot less of it. So.
Yeah.
So the trail's a lot more pristine, I guess you could say.
Okay, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I know hiking through when I tried in April, or when I tried in 2017 in April.
Big difference.
Just big difference. March was good, not as good as February, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
But like April is just like campsites all over the place, like trash and stuff, in Georgia especially.
Yeah.
Cool. So we'll end with, what is one piece of gear that you guys will not continue if you don't have with you on your thru hike? Like, this is your gear, this is the piece of gear. I think I know what you're gonna say. But what is y'all's favorite piece of gear?
Yeah, mine is my Black Diamond carbon trekking poles. Yeah, these are my numero uno. I use them constantly. They're Alpine carbons.
Wow.
But very, very strong, and they had, these clips are just so durable. You know, I had a pair of Lecky with the plastic, and they broke on me in the beginning of a 5-day hike. So it was just tape holding it together.
Wow.
But yeah, these have saved me countless times from falling.
They're totally underrated. Well, everyone
they
has
are.
them.
Everybody
but, like,
has them, but-
everyone says another piece of gear, but they're totally underrated. They help so much for me too.
Tremendous
help.
help.
They take a lot of load off of like your body, because
Yes.
you're kind of dispersing it through your entire body instead of just on your legs
and mentally too. Sometimes I'll get into a very rare flat ridge, and I'll just get a good rhythm with them. You know, just going, and love them. So yeah, I wouldn't go.
So if these went missing, what would happen?
Oh my goodness!
If you were at a shelter deep in the woods,
I would hunt down whoever took them.
Where are you?
Yeah.
Campers after you.
So I don't know that my gear is necessarily, if I didn't have it, I couldn't complete the trail, but my favorite piece of gear is my Patagonia R1.
Okay.
It's the waffle shirt. Yeah,
Love
because
it.
that thing,
That's what we had.
I can wear it in probably upper 50s, lower 60s, and still be kind of comfortable, and then all the way down into the teens, upper teens.
Yeah.
So as far as wearing a wool t-shirt underneath it, and still hiking along and not having to worry about having to pull out a jacket if I stop, or well, you stop, you get cold anyway. But
So that's a daily use.
yeah, it's definitely
we carried our R1s the entire way. It was just like they circulate air really well, like cool and warm air. It depends on what your body needs, and just a really good piece of gear.
Yeah, you can zip it down. You can vent. It's you got the hoodie on it. You can put it over your head to stay warm, or take it off if you start warming up. So
for sure.
Good piece of
Cool,
equipment.
guys. So how can we follow you on Instagram, YouTube? How can we follow you?
I'm on YouTube, Kamper 2020.
Okay.
So Kamper 2020.
Okay.
I am on Instagram and Facebook, but I don't really do a lot with
I've noticed that
Instagram.
on your Instagram. You
I don't.
have a lot.
Yeah, I don't. I just kind of focus on two things: the Facebook, and so I put out my YouTube video, and then for like family and friends who don't go to YouTube every day, but they go to Facebook because they're old like me.
Yeah.
So I always post my YouTube videos on Facebook.
Yeah.
And they appreciate that.
Okay.
Because if they were just to go to YouTube, maybe they'd be 4 or 5 videos back. But because I also put them on Facebook, they keep up.
Yeah.
So
that's
really
good.
Facebook and YouTube. Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
YouTube's for old people.
Yeah. So it's
Instagram's a new one.
That's right. I'm an old person.
yes.
So the Facebook's for old people, right?
Yes.
Facebook,
Facebook's-
not YouTube.
Facebook's. I would
Yeah,
say that's
Facebook.
like
Did I say YouTube? I said YouTube.
Yeah, you said YouTube.
Yeah, Facebook.
But YouTube's kind of a little.
YouTube is
Yeah.
for everyone.
Yeah.
Sorry, but so I'm on YouTube as Oso Hikes, and I do have an Instagram account. Probably I post a picture maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks, whenever like get the Cow Rock Mountain or Max Patch.
Yeah.
All the really cool vistas you get to see. So
I love doing Instagram. The reason I liked it is because it was like really quick, like a little diary kind of.
Yeah.
And I throw it out there for people because we did weekly vlogs, so we weren't able to like do the daily updates and stuff. So Instagram was nice to send out like a little like daily or every 2 days kind of post, just updating people and my mother on what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Thank
Good
you so
luck.
much. This is fun.
Yeah, good luck
Yeah.
getting to Katahdin.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, cool.
All right, so that is the interview. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Now I'm going to talk about the impact of the coronavirus on thru hikers so far on the Appalachian Trail as of March 16th. I have talked to a lot of thru hikers, a lot of people in the community online, and I have also talked to some caretakers here in town about the effects of coronavirus. So I'll talk about 3 things. The first thing I will talk about is the opinions of some thru hikers I've talked to. So I have heard a lot of thru hikers kind of haven't been hearing much. I mean, if you have hiked before on the Appalachian Trail, you know you can get very isolated, especially if you don't have really great cell service. So honestly, it's kind of another world on the trail from what I've been hearing. People haven't necessarily been getting too many updates. If they do get updates, it's from family and friends. I have not heard of anyone actually getting off the trail because of the coronavirus. But in my opinion, from what I've been hearing from thru hikers, they haven't been afraid of getting the virus. None of them I've talked to have been afraid of actually getting the virus. However, I have seen on the Facebook page that some people are thinking about postponing their hikes because there is fear of resupplying in towns that they walk through, such as hot springs or get rides to. They're also nervous to resupply their toilet paper and their hand sanitizer because that is in very low supply apparently right now. I haven't been to the Dollar General here in Hot Springs in about 3 days, but when I was there last, they had plenty of toilet paper and they had a couple things of hand sanitizer that had princesses on them. So that is the update from Hot Springs as far as our resupply goes, so that is good. Hikers have been saying is that there hasn't been much talk about it. There has been some talk about it, but there hasn't been a lot, and that is just what I've been hearing. That might change. Again, this is March 16th. The second thing I want to talk about is kind of something to look out for thru hikers. I mean, these next couple weeks in particular is the closing of restaurants in towns. I heard that some of them are closing down. Also, some hostels are closing down. So if you can call the hostel, bunkhouse, hotel before you actually go there, I would do that just to check if they are actually open. As far as our bunkhouse goes, we are completely open and we are ready to serve thru hikers, ones that are feeling good. So if you aren't feeling good, definitely quarantine yourself or go somewhere, go home even, just to take a couple weeks off and then come back. Everything has slowed down. That's another thing to think about. Maybe you need to just postpone your hike for a couple weeks and wait for it to slow down a little bit. Obviously, I don't know if it will, but maybe that is something you can do just to ensure that you get the best experience out here and the safest experience. And the third thing, I didn't want to make this video too long just because I didn't want to make this whole part about the coronavirus too long because I'm not an expert. I'm just relaying the information that I've heard from thru hikers and I'm kind of just telling my own opinion. So that's what I'm going to do right now. The third thing, which is my opinion on thru hiking, backpacking during the coronavirus and this pandemic. My opinion on it, which I stated a little bit before, I think right now the woods and backpacking is the safest place you can be. That depends though, so if you have a big trail family, I would probably reduce it, hike with a couple less people. I think the briefing said if you're in a group of 10, maybe reduce it. So look out for that. Also, the woods, you're isolated out there to an extent. I would definitely tent a lot more if it was me and this was happening. I would wash my hands with, I'd bring soap out there and practice leave no trace in the best possible ways. Possibly use a environmentally safe soap to use, but also sanitize if I did have sanitizer. If I didn't, again, soap would work. I hear just fine. Going into town will be tough, I believe, in these next couple weeks. Restaurants, I hear, are closing down. I think the White House briefing suggested that restaurants may be closed down for the time being these next 2 weeks. But that isn't, I mean, that's not a huge thing if you can get your resupply foods at any grocery stores or Dollar Generals. That won't be a big hindrance. I mean, it's a very awesome thing to go into town and get some restaurant food. But, I mean, that can't ruin a thru hike if you do have food at resupplies. My opinion, if it does get to a point where you are getting sick on the trail, even if it is something else, I always recommend people to hunker down and just take care of yourself. Don't push it too much. If you are showing signs of coronavirus, definitely quarantine yourself. Definitely, because if it spreads on the trail, I mean, I know how norovirus goes. A lot of you know how norovirus goes. It spreads really quick. So please do your best and be responsible and do not spread it to other people. Just be responsible. So that's a really quick thought, in my opinion, of what kind of the impact of this coronavirus is. I might make a more in-depth video later. I haven't quite decided, but I just thought I would put my own thoughts out there and kind of tell y'all who are out there not on the trail, tell y'all how it's been going with some thru hikers around the area. They honestly are just hiking and loving life. So go them. Let's cheer them on. Unless they have coronavirus, let's tell them no. I hope you guys enjoyed the interview. I'll be back with some more interviews. Yeah, cool. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.